Excuse me, thank you, salute. Pardon me, I just was drinking some cranberry apple. Went down the wrong pipe for a second. First, thank you, salute, and peace and intelligence to everyone. How's everyone feeling today? To the thinking minds out there, I wanted to make a quick video on the subject of if there really such a thing as pretty slash handsome or ugly. Now, because we're used to growing up in society where we've always been told there is such a thing, you probably are thinking, well, of course, Jason, there's such a thing as pretty and handsome or ugly. What do you mean? Is that even a question? I also want to, in addressing this question, I'll also be addressing the question of, does wearing makeup or getting your hair and nails done or dressing sexy or having a sexy physique really matter? Now, to dispel this notion that there is such a thing as pretty slash handsome or ugly, as well as dressing sexy or being considered as sexy actually matters, I'll ask you a simple question. If women always all looked, if women always all looked like deformed burn victims and were completely bald and had overly hairy legs and private parts and sucked in rear ends, would men still lust after them the same as we do now? Excuse me. And you can consider that question in terms of heterosexual women and their feelings toward men. If men were hideous looking and grotesque, every man always looked that way, would women still be sexually attracted to men? Now, before you go saying the reflexive answer of no, you wouldn't, I want you to think about something. The point to sex, the fundamental point to sex, is reproduction. That is the very reason that we have the ability to have sex, is to reproduce. It is not for our pleasure, as society has programmed us to think. It is to reproduce and continue on our species. So actually, the answer is not no, it is yes. It does not matter if someone is considered hideous. The most unattractive person that you could think of, if everyone of the opposite sex always looked like that, you would be attracted to them, because that would be the available option to you. And that is my point, is that really, though society has conditioned us to believe that there is such a thing as beauty or being handsome or even ugly, really all there is available options. Because if there wasn't that option, or even let's go to the word availability, if that wasn't available, then you couldn't do it. Then you couldn't engage in that. So the fact that nature made us available in the form that we are currently is the only reason why we consider ourselves at these different ranks of pretty and handsome, or even have, is why we even have sexual relations at all. And pretty and handsome is just a way of creating some kind of hierarchy within those options. But really, if every woman looked hideous and there was no hierarchy of who is more hideous than the other, if everyone looked the same level of hideous, think of the most unattractive woman that you've ever seen in your life. Guess what? You would be dating them if there was no other option. And women always look like that. And the same thing with for men in terms of women being attracted to them. Women, ladies, if you could think of the most unattractive male that you've ever come across, the one that turned you off and turned your stomach when you looked at them or when you think of them, if all men always look like that, then guess what? You would find them attractive because you would have no other option but to. And remember, it is your instinct. It is nature's demand of us instinctively or instinctually for us to engage in sexual relations in order to reproduce. That's the whole point of attraction, physical attraction. Now, when I say that the point of sex is for reproduction, the fundamental purpose of sex is reproduction. What I'm saying is that any sexual activity that we perform or engage in follows from this, delineates from this. Even homosexual sex, even pedophilia, or even oral sex, even bestiality, all of this follows from this. And why do I know this? How can we prove this? Because if it wasn't for reproduction, we wouldn't have the ability to have sex. Nature wouldn't have given us that ability, whether you want to say evolution or whatever you want to fill in that place, in that nomenclature, whatever nomenclature you want to put in that position, we wouldn't have the ability to have sex. And that's the truth of it. When it all comes down to it, when you cut through all of the romantic talk and the poetic notions that we have in society and all the religion's fervor and zealotry, in the end, fundamentally, logically, that is the purpose of sex, reproduction. And in fact, that's the purpose of all sex. Thank you. That's it. That's all I have. That's all I have for this video. Think or salute. Think objectively, not subjectively, because that's how you become blind to what is actually true in the universe and in life experience. Peace and intelligence.